Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're journeying into a state that, well, on the surface, it's famous for its music, its bourbon, maybe some really great barbecue. But underneath all that, Tennessee holds this darker distinction. It's absolutely saturated with unique and genuinely terrifying paranormal activity.
Yeah, it really is.
We've been digging through the source material. It's a fascinating mix, actually. We've got articles ranking these super modern commercial scare parks.
Right, the high-tech haunted houses.
Exactly. And then right alongside those, you have these deep historical accounts of spectral legends, some going back way before the Civil War.
So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to chart this spooky landscape for you. We're going to try and clearly separate the locations rooted in, real tragic history, where the haunting seems tied to mass death or famous local lore.
And then compare those to the, let's call them high-octane commercial spots, the ones engineered just for a modern thrill ride.
And what's fascinating, what we found, is that Tennessee has this uncanny way of blending the two.
It really does.
The sheer depth of the state's violent past, you've got frontier conflict, the devastation of the Civil War, a long and brutal prison system. It all serves as this incredibly rich foundation.
A foundation for both, right? For the authentic, chilling stories and for these really successful commercial scares.
Exactly. The history provides the fuel, you could say. And if you're looking for a ghost story rooted in genuine American tragedy, well, you pretty much have to start where our sources did.
Ah, yes. With the one, the only, Bell Witch.
The Bell Witch,
Oh.
often called the ultimate American haunting, and the timeline really grounds it.
Right, it started way back in 1817 with a farmer, John Bell, and his family in this tiny community, Adams.
And it wasn't subtle stuff at first, according to the accounts. Not just spooky lights or cold spots. They describe these incredibly specific things. Strange animals showing up, noises like rats gnawing bedposts, or heavy stones dropping from the ceiling.
Only to vanish when they hit the floor, right?
Yeah, exactly. Vanish. And the spirit, which they identified as this malevolent entity, Kate Batts, it quickly zeroed in on the youngest daughter, Betsy Bell.
Which makes it so much creepier. This wasn't just some random haunting. It felt personal, targeted.
Totally. And the sources really emphasize how physical the attacks were. Multiple witnesses apparently documented seeing bruises, welts, appearing on Betsy's skin in real time.
Caused by what? Invisible forces, slapping, pinching.
Hair pulling, even reports of choking. It's pretty extreme stuff.
And the lore says Kate Batts was a real neighbor, someone John Bell had supposedly cheated in a land deal. So it was framed as revenge.
That's the story. But the really chilling part, the detail that makes this case unique, is how it ended for John Bell himself.
Oh yeah, his death in 1820.
When he died suddenly, Tennessee actually became the only state, officially, to attribute a person's death to supernatural causes, blamed directly on the Bell Witch's poison.
That detail alone just tells you how powerful and, well, believed this legend was at the time.
Absolutely. And for people looking for that connection today, the Bell Witch Cave, it's on the original Bell property, is a huge destination.
And people still report things.
Constantly. Whispers, sudden cold gusts of air, and that very specific feeling of being hit by something unseen, like a rock thrown from nowhere. Seems like the entity, or the legend's power, is still active.
Wow. Okay, so from a single vengeful neighbor, let's shift gears to mass tragedy.
The Civil War, Tennessee is just scarred by it, and those scars, well, they seem to manifest paranormally.
Our sources pointed to two key locations, starting with Carnton Plantation in Franklin. Very somber place.
Yeah, Carnton was turned into a massive Confederate field hospital right after the Battle of Franklin in 1864. Just imagine this beautiful southern house suddenly overwhelmed with wounded and dying men.
Thousands of them. And that history is just palpable. The mansion's right next to a cemetery with almost 1,700 Confederate soldiers buried there.
And the hauntings seem directly linked to that trauma. People report seeing full-bodied apparitions of soldiers inside the house.
And there's the woman in white on the back porch, too, right?
That's another common sighting. But the one that always gets me, the really specific one.
The ankles.
Yeah. Near the graves of twin brothers, buried side by side, visitors walking past there report feeling grabbed or tickled like invisible fingers brushing their ankles. It's so intimate, almost desperate, residual.
Creepy. Okay, so if Carnton represents the suffering after the battle,
then Shiloh National Military Park is about the sheer brutality of the battle itself, one of the bloodiest of the entire war. Over 23,000 casualties in just 2 days.
and the hauntings there aren't really about seeing individual ghosts so much.
Less so. It's more environmental terror.
Oh.
Visitors don't just see things, they hear the battle. Phantom musket fire, the sound of drums, the screams of men.
Like the battle is still echoing there.
Exactly. And then there's that profoundly disturbing detail from the sources about the nearby pond.
The bloody pond.
Yeah. Sometimes it supposedly turns red. An echo of the historical accounts that the water was literally stained red with blood from soldiers and horses during and after the fighting. That's a powerful imprint on the land itself.
Just horrific.
Yeah.
Okay, one more historical site, but a different kind of horror. Institutional.
Right. Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary in Petros, Tennessee's first maximum security prison, opened from 1896 all the way to 2009.
And home to some infamous inmates. James Earl Ray, who killed Martin Luther King Jr., was there.
Yeah, the list is like a who's who of crime. This was a place defined by confinement, desperation, violence for over a century.
The energy there must be
Oh,
intense.
no.
Very different from battlefield ghosts.
It seems like it. Pure aggression. Brushy Mountain is a tourist spot now. You can even do overnight investigations until 4 a.m.
Brave souls.
Definitely. The reports aren't subtle. People claim they're violently touched, shoved, even scratched, and hearing these aggressive, disembodied growls coming out of the dark cell blocks.
Yeah, that sounds less like sad residual energy and more like something actively hostile.
Exactly. Less sorrow, more anger.
Okay, so let's move out of the deep woods and the old prisons and see how this kind of trauma settles into cities, especially in grand old buildings like hotels.
And we have to start with the Reed House Hotel in Chattanooga. They have really leaned into their ghost story, specifically Room 311.
Ah, yes, Annalisa Netherly's room.
That's the one. Allegedly haunted by her spirit, the exact story varies a bit. Was she a prostitute murdered by a jealous lover? Did she die by suicide? But it's always set in the 1920s or 30s.
And this is where that line between history and, well, commercial appeal gets interesting.
Totally. The hotel restored Room 311 completely to its 1927 appearance. So it's not just a haunted room, it's like a time capsule of tragedy.
And they make it exclusive. Yeah.
It's genius marketing, really. The door has an old-fashioned manual key lock, unlike the other rooms. And because everyone wants that authentic haunted experience,
They only let a few people stay.
6 overnight guests per year, only during October. And you have to win a lottery to get picked.
Wow. That scarcity, plus the history, it definitely ramps up the thrill factor.
Yeah.
Turns it into a kind of paranormal pilgrimage.
Absolutely. Now, if the Reed House is about a specific tragedy, the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville, the mother church of country music, is different. It's where history meets performance art.
And the ghosts are active during rehearsals, apparently.
Often, yes. We know the musical ghosts, like Hank Williams Sr. reportedly appearing as a white mist or being heard singing during sound checks.
But there's another one the sources mentioned. The Gray Man.
Right, and he seems totally unrelated to music. He's seen in a Confederate uniform just silently watching rehearsals from the balcony. Then he vanishes before anyone can get up there.
Like the building itself just holds these residual energy.
Seems like it. And then you've got the ghost of the original owner, Thomas Ryman, still playing the critic, apparently.
Huh, that's right. If he disapproves of a performance, which, let's be honest, might be often people hear loud, unexplained knocking or doors slamming shut right in the middle of the show.
Even in death, he gets the last word, or the last knock.
Okay, finally, let's head down to Memphis. 2 really unique spots there, starting with the Orpheum Theater.
This one feels a bit different, more gentle, almost sad, tied to the spirit of a little girl named Mary.
She was only 12, right? Killed in a car accident just outside the theater back in 1921.
Yeah, and she's often seen just sitting in her favorite seat, even know the seat number, C5, or sometimes playing little harmless pranks on the cleaning staff. It's like a fixed memory of a child who loved that place.
That is sad.
Mhm.
And then, for something completely different, Ernestine and Hazel's.
Oh, that legendary dive bar. That building's history is pure Memphis. Built in the late 1800s. It was a church, then a pharmacy.
And then, significantly, a brothel, before becoming the bar it is today.
Exactly. And most of the reported activity, shadow figures, strange sounds, happens upstairs in the old brothel area. Decades of intense emotions packed into those rooms.
Makes sense.
But the detail that really captures the place's soul, for me, is the jukebox.
The James Brown story.
Yeah. The source mentions that right after James Brown died, employees were talking about it near the jukebox, and suddenly it just starts blasting, "I feel good." Nobody touched it.
That's amazing. Like the cultural, emotional, historical vibes of the city just linger there.
Okay, so we've established Tennessee has this incredibly deep well of Genuine tragedy, genuine history to draw from.
Right. Now let's look at what happens when that fear gets, well, monetized. Amplified with modern tech and high production values.
Yeah, we're moving from maybe accidentally bumping into a ghost to actively paying for a guaranteed scare.
And the commercial scare scene in Tennessee is apparently top tier. Nashville Nightmare, for example. It's not just a local haunt.
No, USA Today ranked it in the top 5 most terrifying haunted houses in the whole country.
So this isn't just walking through a dark room with someone jumping out.
Not at all. It's like a whole fear ecosystem.
Yeah.
They've got 4 distinct, super high-tech themed haunts, plus extras mini-scape games. You can shoot zombies.
And I heard something about a secret bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
A secret bar serving spooky cocktails. It's designed as a whole night out, totally built around the experience of fear.
Which brings us back to that interesting line. Using historical horror versus creating purely fictional thrills. Frightmare Manor in Talbot seems to walk that line. Or maybe jump over it.
Yeah, Frightmare Manor is fascinating in that regard.
Yeah.
Because it connects directly back to our earlier discussion of real horror.
How so?
It's built on the actual property linked to Jeremiah Lexer.
The 19th century serial killer.
Yeah.
The one who supposedly did horrific experiments.
That's the one. So you go there for the commercial scares, the adrenaline rush, but you're doing it on ground literally associated with real, documented human horror.
And they lean into that, don't they? With the attractions.
Heavily. They have the Money Back Haunt Challenge, which is pretty intense. And then there's the Lexer Jump.
A free fall attraction. Named after.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Named after the urban legend that Lexer killed himself by jumping from a window on that very property. It's dark, but it shows how powerful authentic tragedy can be for marketing. It gives the jump scare this creepy historical weight that pure fiction maybe can't match.
Definitely adds another layer. Okay, what about scares in a more natural setting?
For that, there's Deadland Haunted Woods. They call themselves a scream park. It's basically 3 self-guided haunted trails through the woods, using the natural darkness and landscape.
Sounds intense. And then we shift back towards the hyper-local legends, places famous just because of the story itself.
Right, like the Sensabaugh Tunnel in Kingsport, a classic bit of Tennessee folklore.
And the history is a bit murky.
Yeah, the sources offer conflicting stories. Did Edward Sensabaugh really murder his family and dump them in the creek? Or was he just some guy trying to scare off vandals from his property?
But the ritual is the main thing, right?
Exactly. The legend says you park inside the tunnel, turn off your car, and the engine won't start again until the ghost gets close. Plus, people report hearing a baby crying inside the tunnel. Classic urban legend stuff.
Very spooky. And finally, if you just want pure creative horror, no historical baggage needed.
Then you look at places like Frightworks Haunted House in Powell. They seem to rely entirely on imagination.
They created their own backstory.
Yeah, a really complex one involving this made-up radioactive ore called frightonium.
The frightonium. Seriously?
Seriously. And this ore supposedly causes mutations and supernatural stuff, transforming this old factory into a nightmare zone. It's all about modern horror design, proving you don't always need real tragedy to deliver high-level scares. Hashtag outro.
So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for you listening in? We've taken this deep dive across Tennessee's haunted landscape and hopefully shown the sheer range.
Yeah.
We went from the blood-soaked ground at Shiloh to the really unique, deep-rooted lore of the Bill Witch.
Right, and we saw how urban tragedies stick around in places like Room 311 at the Reed House.
And then how modern tech delivers these ultimate engineered scares at places like Nashville Nightmare or Fightworks.
And the sources really highlight that connection, don't they? Tennessee's vibrant paranormal culture seems undeniably tied to its rich and often violent past.
The Civil War, frontier life, the prisons.
Yeah. Whether you're looking for something that feels historically authentic or just a modern adrenaline rush, that history provides the potent fuel for it all, the emotional residue.
So as you think about this split, the real pain versus the manufactured thrill, here's a final thought to chew on. How might Tennessee's actual landscape, its architecture, how might that play a role? Does it actively amplify or maybe preserve the energy of these tragic events?
That's a great point. We mentioned places like the Thomas House Hotel built over limestone and old Native American trails, or the heavy ironclad design of Brushy Mountain Prison.
Does the very ground or the materials used in these old buildings make the state somehow uniquely potent for this kind of activity? Does it help turn tragedy into something permanent, something accessible?
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? But that's probably a deep dive for another time.